Every father thinks his wedding day will be the most important day of his life, but I was wrong. Dead wrong. Because nothing, and I mean nothing, could have prepared me for what my 5-year-old daughter Emma did at my wedding renewal ceremony. What started as a simple vow renewal turned into a moment so pure, so unexpected, that even the photographer stopped taking pictures just to wipe his eyes. And by the end of this story, you'll understand why hundreds of people at that garden venue weren't just crying, they were sobbing. It was supposed to be perfect. My wife Sarah and I had been married for 7 years, and we wanted to celebrate our journey with a proper ceremony since our first wedding was a small courthouse affair. We'd barely had enough money back then for rings, let alone a celebration. But now, with our daughter Emma turning 5 and life finally stable, we decided to renew our vows in the most beautiful garden venue we could find. The place was magical, with string lights hanging from old oak trees, flowers everywhere you looked, and this cobblestone courtyard that looked like something out of a fairy tale. Emma had been so excited about being our flower girl. For weeks, she practiced walking slowly, dropping rose petals from her little basket. She'd parade around our living room in her pajamas, taking tiny steps and saying, like this, "Daddy, am I doing it right?" Every single time, I'd scoop her up and tell her she was absolutely perfect. She had this pink tulle dress that she insisted on wearing to bed 3 nights in a row before the ceremony because she loved it so much. Sarah had to sneak it away while Emma slept just to get it cleaned. The morning of the ceremony, I was a nervous wreck. Not about marrying Sarah again, that was the easy part. I was nervous because I wanted everything to be perfect for her. She deserved that perfect day we never got the first time around. I was in the groom's suite, struggling with my tie for the 100th time, when Emma burst through the door. She was already in her flower girl dress, her blonde hair curled and pinned back with fresh white roses. She looked like an actual princess, and my heart just about exploded. "Daddy, you look so handsome," she squealed, running over to hug my legs. I bent down to her level, and she put her tiny hands on my cheeks. "Are you nervous, Daddy?" I laughed and admitted that yes, I was a little nervous. She got very serious then, her blue eyes looking right into mine. "Don't be nervous. Mommy loves you so much. She told me this morning that you're her best friend in the whole world." I had to blink back tears right then and there. This kid had a way of saying exactly what I needed to hear. The ceremony was scheduled to start at 5 in the evening when the light would be golden and perfect. Guests started arriving, filling the white chairs arranged in rows facing a beautiful floral arch. My parents were there, Sarah's parents, our siblings, friends from college, coworkers, neighbors. About 150 people had come to celebrate with us. I stood at the altar with our officiant, my best man beside me, watching as people found their seats. The string quartet started playing, and my heart began pounding. First came the bridesmaids, Sarah's sister and 2 of her closest friends, walking down that cobblestone aisle in their soft blue dresses. Then the music changed to a gentle instrumental version of 1,000 Years, and everyone stood up. This was Emma's cue. I looked toward the entrance, expecting to see my little flower girl taking those careful, practiced steps she'd rehearsed so many times. But she wasn't moving. She just stood there, frozen at the beginning of the aisle, clutching her basket of rose petals with both hands. My stomach dropped. Was she scared? Had she forgotten what to do? I could see Sarah's mom gently trying to encourage her forward, but Emma shook her head. The music continued playing, and people started glancing at each other, wondering what was happening. I was about to walk down and get her when suddenly, Emma did something completely unexpected. She reached into her flower basket, but instead of pulling out rose petals, she pulled out a piece of paper. It was folded and slightly crumpled, clearly something she'd hidden there herself. She unfolded the paper with her little hands, took a deep breath that I could see from where I stood, and in the loudest, clearest voice she could manage, she started reading. My daddy is the best daddy in the whole world. The entire venue went silent. You could have heard a pin drop. He makes me pancakes every Saturday, even when he's really tired from work. He always cuts them into heart shapes because he knows that's my favorite. My throat tightened. I had no idea she was going to do this. This wasn't part of the plan. Emma continued, her voice getting a little stronger. When I have bad dreams, Daddy lets me sleep in the big bed, and he tells me stories about brave princesses until I'm not scared anymore. He says I'm his brave princess. Several people in the audience were already reaching for tissues, and we weren't even halfway through. Daddy teaches me how to ride my bike, and he always runs beside me so I don't fall. One time I did fall, and I got a big scrape on my knee, and Daddy picked me up and told me that brave girls get back up. So I did, and he was so proud of me. Emma looked up from her paper, found my eyes, and smiled. That smile just about destroyed me. My daddy works really hard, but he always has time to play tea party with me. He drinks pretend tea and eats pretend cookies, and he uses a funny voice that makes mommy laugh. The audience was completely captivated. Some people were crying openly now, and I wasn't far behind. Emma looked back at her paper. But the best thing about my daddy is how much he loves my mommy. He kisses her forehead every morning before work. He holds her hand when we go on walks. He dances with her in the kitchen when he thinks I'm not watching, but I am watching, and it makes me so happy. I couldn't hold back anymore. Tears were streaming down my face, and I didn't even care. Emma's voice got a little wobbly with emotion. Today, Daddy is marrying Mommy again, and I'm so happy because it means they love each other even more than before. And I'm the luckiest girl because they're my Mommy and Daddy. She paused, took another deep breath, and said the words that completely shattered everyone there. Daddy, I wrote this all by myself. Mommy helped me with the spelling, but the words are mine. I wanted everyone here to know why you're the best daddy, and why Mommy is so lucky, and why I'm so lucky too. She carefully folded her paper, put it back in the basket, and then finally, she started walking down the aisle, dropping rose petals like she'd practiced. But now, everyone was crying too hard to really notice. I was openly sobbing. My best man had his hand on my shoulder, and when I looked toward where Sarah was about to enter, I could see her peeking around the corner, mascara already running down her face. Emma reached me and looked up with that proud, beaming smile. I couldn't help myself. I broke protocol, stepped forward, and scooped her into my arms, holding her tight. I love you so much, princess, I whispered into her hair. That was the most beautiful thing anyone has ever done for me. She hugged my neck and whispered back, I love you too, Daddy. Now you have to marry Mommy. The audience laughed through their tears, and I set Emma down so she could take her place. When Sarah finally walked down the aisle with her father, she was already crying, and we hadn't even started the actual vows yet. The ceremony was beautiful, but honestly, nothing could top what Emma had done. Our officiant even acknowledged it, saying, well, I think Emma just gave us all a masterclass in love and family. That's going to be hard to follow. Everyone laughed and agreed. Later, during the reception, person after person came up to me talking about Emma's speech. That was the most touching thing I've ever witnessed at a wedding, one of Sarah's aunts told me. You should be so proud. And I was. I was so incredibly proud. My best friend from college, who's usually the tough, unemotional type, pulled me aside and said, man, I've been to a lot of weddings, but what your daughter did today, that's going to stick with me forever. Emma spent the rest of the evening dancing, eating cake, and basking in all the attention. She'd stolen the show completely, and she deserved every bit of recognition she got. When we finally got home that night, after Emma was tucked into bed, Sarah and I sat together on our couch, still in our wedding clothes, and just held each other. "Did you know she was going to do that?" I asked. Sarah shook her head. "She asked me how to spell some words yesterday, said she was writing a story about her daddy. I had no idea it was for today. I had no idea she was going to read it in front of everyone." We sat in comfortable silence for a moment before Sarah said, "We're raising an amazing little girl." And she was right. In that moment, on what was supposed to be our special day, Emma had shown everyone there what family really means. She'd shown them that love isn't just between two people getting married, it's woven through every moment, every pancake breakfast, every scraped knee, every bedtime story. She'd stolen the show not because she wanted attention, but because she had something important to say about love, and she was brave enough to say it. That's my girl. That's my princess. And that's a moment I'll treasure for the rest of my life.